Okay, guys, good morning and welcome to day one of boot camp. I'm Monica Perry, your Market Center Tech Trainer in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and Chapel Hill Market Centers, a licensed agent since 2008, and I'm so excited that you guys are all here with me today. A few housekeeping items first to get us started this week. All of these classes are going to be recorded and added to my YouTube channel for you guys to reference later. And I want to show you quickly where you can go get all of that stuff. So you have a resource website from me. It's kwtechcoach.com. Again, that is kwtechcoach.com. And when you head on over there, this is what you should see. So you'll see the ability to schedule a consult with me front and center. Those are both 15-minute and 30-minute consultations. I don't want those to be confused with support, right? The consultations are, I came to Monica's boot camp and I was getting started with contacts and I heard her talk about Facebook ads, but I wasn't ready to do it yet. Now I'm ready to learn how to do a Facebook ad. That is a great reason to schedule a consultation with me. If you are working on your paperwork and something is not working and you need it fixed, that is the time that you should text message Monica at 336-575-8473. It's not that I don't want to talk to you on the phone. It's just that I'm usually in Zoom and I cannot answer the phone. So if you shoot me a text, I'm always happy to reach back out to you as soon as humanly possible. I am never, ever, ever too busy. So don't ever, I just had this conversation with another leadership member this morning. We're busy because we are here to service all of you and we love doing it. You are the reason that we have careers that we love. So please don't ever think that you can't ask me for help. There are a couple of people in here who can attest to the fact that I'm always here and ready to help you. If I can't help you because I'm out of town or something like that, I always put another Market Center Tech Trainer in my place and I plaster it everywhere that they are here to help you for the day that I am not here. Okay. So just keep that in mind. I promise you that you're not bothering me and that I'm happy to help you. So scheduling consultations plus texting me for help. We've got upcoming classes. It's boot camp week. Here's my calendar. You can click on these classes. If you wanted to take one like this one, you can actually click on it, open it, and share it directly to your calendar of choice so that you have it at the ready to remind you that you have an upcoming class with me. So just remember that that's here for you as well. And then up here at the very top, we have some tabs. So this is the first day of boot camp. This afternoon, I will get this video on YouTube. Under the new agents tab, there is a command boot camp page. And I've also got it under the agent resources tab because command boot camp is not just for new agents. Command is a technology platform that has incorporated multiple pieces of technology into one place for us to make our lives easier. And as someone who did not used to have this, I can promise you that it's very nice to have all of your technology in one place. So it's consistently getting updates and new features added just like a cell phone would be, right? So I have agents that come back and revisit boot camp with me. I do it every month. So if you want to check out the latest and greatest and whatever topic you're looking for, that's why I break boot camp down into multiple pieces so that you know exactly what we're going to cover that day. If you click on the boot camp tab, it is going to give you a cool little testimonial from someone who took boot camp with me, when the next session is, and then right below there are all of the videos. So these are the videos from September. As of this afternoon, they will be getting replaced with October's. Okay, so this is one spot that you can get the videos is on my website. And there's lots of other stuff in here for you. So like the 2022-2023 North Carolina real estate forums, Facebook groups you should probably join, stuff about Keller Mortgage, Keller Covered, all that kind of stuff is here. And I even have some of my favorite things. I have a lot of people ask me like, what podcasts do I listen to? What books do I like to read? I have all of that here for you guys as well. And hopefully that's helpful. One more thing I want to draw your attention to is my link tree. Okay. So if you don't know what a link tree is, I'm about to show you. This is super helpful on your phone. although my website is, it changes itself into a phone view for you pretty nicely. Link trees are just a group of links, right? So you guys have the link tree. It's linktr.ee/KW Tech Coach. This is really great on your phone, right? So you can get to the Command Bootcamp videos here. You can get to your resource website. You can get to answers.kw.com, which is a great place. Schedule a consult with me. All the things that you would need to do right here in one spot for you. So hopefully that covers resources. Does anybody have any questions on that? And Kelly, can you hear us now? Check chat.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yay! Okay, and I can hear you. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay, good deal. So everybody's feeling good then about where we're going to come get the videos later and all of that kind of stuff. Good? Awesome. I'm going to start this slideshow. We're going to start off with this first before we ever head into Command, because while, yes, I know the ins and outs of this entire system, and I love it, and I love technology. Not everybody is like me, right? I get that. So I think it's super important for you to understand why. Why should I use this technology? What does it mean for my business, right? So I always like to start with the why before we move into the how, okay? So let's go ahead and start there. All right, so if you have not picked up your copy of The Millionaire Real Estate Agent from your leadership team, please do so. I was actually given this copy of The Millionaire Real Estate Agent in 2012 when I was at a different company, and this person was trying to get me to come to KW, and oh, do I wish I would have listened to them back then. However, I didn't, but I'm here now. So, and you guys are all here. So pick this book up. You can see mine is nice and worn to the point that I've actually bought myself a new copy, and I plan to reread it this fall from beginning to end through the eyes of your technology consultant. So that's on my to-do list this fall, and I'm super excited about it. But if you haven't picked this up, please do so and dig in there and start reading. So Gary Keller says in The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, also lovingly known as the MREA, that nothing else about your business will have as big an impact on it as the number of leads that you have, period. End of sentence. No one told us when we went to real estate school, Lynn knows what I'm talking about. We're lead generators. That's our number one job. We can be amazing negotiators, marketers of listings, awesome at pricing, just, you know, have the best, most shining personality in the whole world. And none of it matters if we don't have clients, right? So our number one job is lead generation, and nothing else matters. Nothing else comes above that. So keep that in the back of your mind. In the MREA on page 137, if memory serves me correctly, but I'm going to double check myself because it's been that kind of a long weekend. If anybody has kids that play sports, my son just had his last travel ball game ever. He is 17 yesterday. So we've been back and forth to Virginia twice this weekend and went and looked at a college about 3 hours away on Friday. So we've been doing a lot of traveling. I am correct, page 137. You're going to be looking at this bullseye right there, just like the one that you see on your screen. So this is the strategic model for generating leads and building relationships, okay? So what the Millionaire Real Estate Agent tells us is that we need to build a team of allied resources. And you might say, what the heck is that? That is a group of cheerleaders. That is a group of people that are out in the world that as soon as they hear the word real estate, they say, you have got to call my friend Tiffany. She is amazing. She helped us sell our house and get it under contract in 24 hours. Or you have to call my friend Nicole. She was so great in helping us purchase our home. She explained the whole process to us, made things just feel totally seamless, and it was amazing. You need to have those people, as many of them as possible, out in the world cheering for you, okay? Because the thing that people forget is that if you don't consistently hit people over the head, if you will, with your message that you're here, that you're a real estate agent, that you are here to help them, they will forget that you exist. And it's not because they're being mean, it's because they're busy and people get inundated with tons of information all the time. So one of the easiest and most beneficial ways of doing that is to have those allied resources. But to get them to that phase, you have to build a very, very strong relationship with them, because people do business with people that they like, right? People recommend people that they like to do business with as well, okay? So outside of this allied resource, which is our bullseye, we have our MET group. So these are people that we know in some way, shape, or form, also known as our sphere of influence, or SOI, right? So it is your goal, is my goal for you rather, for you to work on getting 200 people that you know into your command database. I also call your command database your data bank, because that's what it is, right? So have a target of 200 people that you know in your command database. And I'm not talking their phone number and their name. I'm talking their name, their phone number, their email address, their home address, their birthday, their kids' names, their dogs' names. What do they like to eat? Where do they like to go? What is their favorite beverage? Are they a Starbucks lover? Do they like wine? Like, if you were to buy them a gift, what would a great gift for them be? Building relationships. And the only way that we can do that is through frequency and consistency and communication with these folks that we already know. That is what is going to build our MET group into allied resources. So you're going to see in this strategic model for generating leads, in the MET group at the bottom, an 8x8, that's when you're first building a relationship. And once you already have the relationship established, a 33 touch system, which is now going to be a 36 touch system when the MREA 2 gets released. So just keep that in mind. That's 36 touches in 1 year. 1 year, okay? A combination of phone calls, emails, text messages, client events, all that kind of fun stuff to make up a total of 36 touches for everyone in your MET group, okay? And then outside of that, you're going to see the targeted group of people that you haven't met yet. So these are people that have some need or know someone that has a need to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. If we haven't met them yet, we are going to use marketing. So that's another thing that you're going to hear in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent is the words marketing-based, prospecting enhanced, okay? Prospecting, one-to-one conversations. That's what we're going to be doing with our MET group. That's what you're going to be doing when you're doing door knocking. Those are things that take time, and they are all great, and they are usually where real estate agents get started in their business. However, that is not going to sustain you over the long haul. Okay, we're going to have to move into some form of marketing, because marketing is scalable and it allows us to reach more people, right? And so your goal is to keep that marketing cost as low as possible when you're getting started. So that's yet another piece of command. Command literally was built off of the models and systems of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. That is the whole purpose of the system, is to help you follow the models and systems of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Outside of that, you're going to have that general public that you haven't met. So you can reach them in other different ways: social media posts, park benches, the grocery shopping carts with the little pictures of people on them. Those things cost a lot more dollars, right? Doesn't mean you shouldn't do them eventually, but I always want to teach you all to lead with revenue. So don't start throwing money at something because you don't have business yet. My favorite adage in real estate is real estate success is simple. It's not easy, right? It's simple. You need to talk to as many people as humanly possible and remind them that you're in real estate, and doing that is not easy, okay? So setting up systems and models on the front end is one of the best things that you can do for your business, because 36 touches for everybody we know is a whole lot, right? But necessary. So let's go ahead and move forward from this. This is called the waves, okay? We have to stay in touch with the people we know over a long period of time. So on this axis, we see the likelihood of the move to a new home. And on the bottom, we see over time, okay? So whoops, up here at the peak of this wave, that's closing day. You have a 100% chance today that you're going to help that person buy the home, sell the home, invest in the home, right? Down here on the bottom of the wave is the day after you just sold them that home, because the likelihood of them purchasing anything is about 0% that day, right? Then we have a 3 to 7 year climb up to the top of the next peak. So it is your job to stay in touch with them over that 3 to 7 years with the systems and models that you have established, right? For them to invest in their next home or sell the current home that they're in. So this is super important to keep in mind. This is where I used to fail as a real estate agent. I closed on their house, I sold their house, I helped them buy a house, whichever one it was, I gave them a closing gift, and then I never really talked to them again, unless I happened to run into them, right? Fail, right? Don't do that, right? Stay in touch with your people post-closing, super duper important. And a lot of people say, well, okay, Monica, you told me that I need to be talking to these people 36 times a year and staying in touch with them for 3 to 7 years. What the heck am I supposed to talk to them about? Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. I'm not telling you to call them and be like, hey, it's pretty. I'm calling you because I wanted to remind you that I'm a real estate agent. And if you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, or if you know anyone who wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, tell them to call me. That's not the phone call I'm talking about. I'm talking about a phone call where you call and say, hey, Brittany, I haven't talked to you in a while. It's so good to hear from you. How's everything going? And they're like, oh, great. Yeah, it's just been crazy busy because, you know, the kids are in school, and now what sports are in the fall? Soccer started, and, you know, it's just been wild. The whole time that you're having that conversation with Brittany, you're like, oh, yeah, I understand that completely. I have a child who plays X sport, or I remember when my child was playing sports, and you're just jotting little notes, whether it's on paper, right? In your note keeper, on your phone, in your command app on your phone. You're having those conversations, asking people how they are, also known as a care call, right? We're not talking about real estate yet. We're just simply talking about them and taking note of what they're saying and listening. There's nothing more important than listening to the people that you're talking to and taking note of the things that they say. Reciprocally, they're going to ask you how you are doing, and then you can talk to them about how you are doing. And in that part of the conversation, it might come up that you're in real estate, just a little, you know, little touch on it there. That's what sparks people to go, that's right, you are in real estate. You know what? My coworker was just telling me that they're thinking about buying a house. Maybe I should give them your phone number. That's how those conversations happen, right? But if we're not having those conversations, we don't have that opportunity. So just remember that. Don't fear your sphere. You have to talk to the people that you know. All right, and here's some more why. Every year around March or April, the National Association of Realtors comes out with a generational trends report. This is all of 2021, released in 2022. How did the buyer find their real estate agent? 40% of all buyers were referred by a friend, neighbor, or relative to the real estate agent that they used. 40%. Half of the market. Look at the sellers. 41% found their real estate agent because they were referred by a friend, neighbor, or a relative. Okay? Don't miss that piece of the pie because it's a big piece, right? So, I mean, it really drops down from there. Look at it. use agent previously to buy or sell a home, 13% of all buyers. And then next they inquired about a specific property because they went to something like Pillow and got, that rhymes with pillow, and got connected to whatever agent paid Zillow the most money to pop up on the side of that listing, right? Same thing with sellers. Drastic drop, not as bad, to 26% that use the agent to previously use to buy or sell their home. And then the next is what? Internet website at 5%. Okay. So think about that. That's why it's so important for you to have these conversations. Next, number of real estate agents they interviewed before they picked the agent they were going to work with. 73% only talked to one. 73% of all buyers only talked to one real estate agent. And then they worked with that real estate agent, which lets us know that if we're not first, what is that Ricky Bobby says? If you're not first, you're last. Right? So if you're not there first, the first contact, you're not getting that business. I don't even like to think about it as getting business. I like to think about it as helping people realize your real estate dreams. Makes your life a little bit better when things are bringing you down, to know that you're helping people. Same thing with sellers. A lot of people say, yeah, that's buyers. What about sellers? 77% only talk to one agent. 77%. That's a huge number, right? So I want you guys to remember that. I'm going to go forward. Would you use your real estate agent again? 76% of all buyers said yes. 74% of all sellers said that they would use them again. But watch. Use their agent previously, only 26% of everyone used the previous agent. Now, some of them may not have had a previous agent, but that's still a huge drop. 13% on the buy side, right? And that's because these people that closed, even though their agent said, yeah, she was awesome, I love Monica. One of my favorite things that a client ever said to me was, I had the patience of Job, which is not true. I'm very actually impatient. I'm just good at faking it for a while. But I never kept up with them. So I guarantee you, they probably already sold that house that I sold them, which is like 5 minutes down the road from me. I don't ever talk to them. Don't be like me. Don't do what I used to do. Stay in touch with your people. Okay. I'm going to move forward. This lead generation model is what you're going to see in the MREA 2. Okay. The difference between a traditional sales funnel, which is what we're all used to seeing, drop the most in at the top, get the most out at the bottom, is this arrow right here, which is exactly what I've been saying. This arrow right there is the infinite loop sales model. So prospecting and marketing, we talked about that. We're going to talk to as many people as we can. We're going to drop them into our funnel. Per the command system, all this teal is where the command system can help you with these things. Okay. Prospecting and marketing, campaigns, designs, referrals, your website. You capture these people. When you first capture their information, if you've never spoken to them before, they are called a lead in the words of command. Once you have established a two-way interactive value-based touch program with them, they have become a contact. Okay. We're connecting. You're putting them on SmartPlans, which is another piece of command. You're going to drop them down into the cultivate bucket when they say, yeah, I might want to buy a house. Yes, I might want to sell my house. Now we're going to cultivate the opportunity to help them with whatever that real estate dream is. Okay, we're going to move them through the phases: appointment, active, under contract, and close. And then we're not going to be like Monica. We are going to take them back up to the top of the funnel and drop them back in again. Infinite loop sales model. And here's just one example of how this can benefit you. So wherever you came from before you came to KW, okay, I'm going to say you were a dental assistant. Okay. You've let a previous coworker know that you left and became an agent, right? So you're like, hey, I just wanted to make sure, you know, that I have all your information. You're having conversations. You get their birthday into your command system. You find out what their address is. So you get to set them up on a smart plan that we're going to look at today, called the monthly neighborhood nurture. You also put them on your quarterly call plan because every single person that you know should be receiving a phone call from you no less than every 90 days or no more than every 90 days. Quarterly calls. Because you're going to have all these conversations in a systematic way. When they get that promotion and a raise, they're going to call you and say, hey, I'm ready to buy my first house. Maybe they were a renter, right? You're going to do a bang up job. I know you are because you're a KW agent, and we all, as your leadership team, have your back to help you make that a really great transaction. So post close, you get to put their new neighborhood on their monthly neighborhood nurture smart plan. You get to add their home anniversary to their contact in command and reach out to them every single year and tell them happy 1 years in your home, happy 2 years in your home. You get to start inviting them to client appreciation events. Please don't be scared of that and go, that sounds expensive. No, use vendors. We have insurance people, loan officers, home inspectors, window washers, roofers, all kinds of folks that want to get in front of our people. They will fund client events with you for the opportunity to be there with you. I've got people that do casino nights. I've got people that do pictures with Santa. I've got people that do Thanksgiving pie giveaways. All kinds of different ways that you can reach out and touch the people that you know in a way that's going to make them feel valuable to you. Okay. Maybe you decide to come up with a monthly newsletter. Then you could send them that. You can continue on with your birthday smart plan and your quarterly call plan, okay? Because you're staying in constant contact with them up the climb of that wave. When someone that they know needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, they're going to say, you've got to call my friend. So now they've given you a referral. So now you have a second piece of business from them. You're going to send them a thank you card. You might pop by with a gift. Maybe when they bought this first time home, the home inspector said, hey, you know, there's about 5 years of roof life left on your roof. So in 3 years, you remind them, hey, don't forget, the home inspector said 5 years of roof life. Let's go ahead and get you connected with some roofers so that we can get you some quotes going and know where things are headed. I promise you, the value of you remembering that for them is invaluable to them. We got a new roof put on this house about 2 years ago now. And right after we got like hurricane type winds, and we live in Sherwood Forest in Winston-Salem, if anybody knows where that is, we have a lot of oak trees, 13 to be exact, on a half-acre lot. And when it storms, it's scary. The roofer drove past the house, visually inspected the roof, didn't tell us, and then called. This is a multi-generational household, called my mom and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know, man, that storm last night was scary, but I did drive by, I checked on your roof, everything looks good, but if you see anything, just let me know. Completely floored that somebody called to check on us after that. A roofer, nonetheless. That is the key to building these relationships, right? So then when they have a baby, they're going to call you to get a bigger home. So now you get to sell their home and help them buy a home. 4 pieces of business from them. Maybe in 10 years, they get another promotion and they've been saving. So you get to send them a referral down to the Wilmington office to buy that beach house they've always wanted. Another piece of business. And that's just for one person, right? So the millionaire real estate agent tells us that for every 12 people that we know in our database, if we communicate with them with a 36 touch plan, we'll get 2 pieces of business for every 12 people that we know. That's a huge turnaround. And the reason we say 12 to 2 instead of 1 to 6 is because it's usually a piece of business for themselves and a piece of business for someone else, a referral. So for every 12 you talk to in that systematic way, you're going to get 2 pieces of business. As opposed to marketing, which is also necessary, it's a 50 to 1 conversion ratio, right? So for every 50 leads you get off of that Facebook ad, you might get 1 piece of business. So huge time difference in how much time it takes to do the prospecting with the people you know versus the marketing piece, but huge difference in the conversion ratio as well. Okay, so hopefully that kind of helps you guys to understand why. Why should I use it? Why should I put people into this command system. That's important to me to share with you so that you kind of can wrap your head around it. Because I promise your own family members will forget that you sell houses if you don't tell them, especially the ones that aren't in your immediate family, like your cousins. Because mine did. And it was super sad for me and embarrassing at Thanksgiving dinner. But it was my fault, not their fault. All right. So I'm going to stop this. Does anybody have any questions on what we just talked about, or is everybody good? And did you find it helpful to hear? Right? I always want you guys to have the why. And with that being said, I'm going to share some resources with you. Bear with me one sec. And we got rid of that slideshow. And now you guys see something that says Command Bootcamp Day 1 resources on my screen? Yes, cool. All right, I'm going to share this in the chat with you all. And it's going to be linked in the description box of the YouTube channel, and it's linked on my website. So bear with me one sec. Pull up this chat. I'm so glad that it was super helpful. And I'm going to drop this link into the chat box. You guys can click on that and add it to your Google Drive. So these are the things we're talking about today. The why behind command, we've already covered it. We're going to move into the actual system here in a second. We're going to look at our setup and our settings, the dashboard, downloading the app for command, adding a contact, and putting those contacts on a SmartPlan. Okay, those are the things we're going to cover today. It's got a link to that lead generation model for you to reference. And it's got links to everything that we talk about, including help articles, the links to download the command app if you haven't, and the National Association of Realtors Generational Trends Report that I just shared some slides with. That's a long report. I love that report. It tells you a lot of insights into the market. And then, because somebody always says it, I don't know 200 people. Yeah, you do. I promise. I gave you a list of who you already know. Okay, it's the last thing linked on there. Who's your dentist? Who's your kid's dentist? Who's your doctor? Right? Who does your taxes? Who cuts your grass? Who is your plumber? Who does your heating and air? Right? Who's your kid's baseball coach? Who is your kid's soccer coach? Who are the people you go to church with? Who are your neighbors? Right? Who are your former coworkers? There's all kinds of people that we can know, right? What about your holiday card list? Who do you get Christmas cards from? Those people should be in your command database, right?
Monica,
Yeah.
so I have a question here. So it'll be just the names, right? But we won't have any further information about them, like, their interests, their kids, family, nothing of that sort. So it'll be like just 200 names with maybe a phone number and email. That's it.
And you're going to start talking to those people to get the rest of that information. Make sense? You're going to start with as much information as you can. So like, I don't know your family yet, but I have a brother. My brother needs to be in my database. Now with my brother, I do know. I know his address. I know his phone number. I know his kids' names, his pets' names, and I know what he likes, right? So that's somebody that should go into my database. Mm-hmm. My best friends, I know most of that stuff about them as well, right? But what about the people that I'm in a book club with, right? Yeah. Every time I go to book club, I'm going to be having conversations with those folks and mentally taking a note. For me personally, it is sports teams because that makes up the bulk of our life at this current time. My daughter's basketball games, my son's baseball games, and all the parents that are there and their coaches, right? For example, Saturday, we got to Virginia. got to the game. The frost had caused a 45-minute delay in the first game. And my son's coach coaches two teams, and he was in the dugout. My son dropped his bag. He was like, "Hey, Tyson, I'm starving. Is there any way that your mom would go get me some food? Because you're not going to be playing for an additional like 2 hours now, because we get there an hour early for warmups." And he was like, "Yeah, she'll do it. She won't care." And so he runs back to my car, and we go pick up the coach Hardee's because it's his favorite. So guess what I did? I already had that coach in my command app on my phone. I went into my phone and said, "This coach likes Hardee's." So when I was at Hardee's, I got the coach a gift card because yesterday was our last game. So I gave that coach a gift card to Hardee's since he likes it.
Mhm.
It's little things like that. And then you have to train yourself to think that way.
Mhm.
That doesn't, at least it didn't to me. I'm kind of a selfish person. It didn't come to me naturally to do that. I had to train myself to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Mhm.
And you just kind of have to get there in your daily interactions and conversations, and you have to seek out more of those daily interactions and conversations. Make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, sure. So you have to mold your personality, because I'm not like that at all. So I feel like, it's a bit of molding that we need to do.
Yeah. And a lot of people aren't like that. And that's just something that you have to just train yourself to do. If you're not inherently a salesy kind of person, my brother is like that naturally, right? My brother is also in sales, not real estate sales. He's like that already. I am not. I have to make myself be that way, not in a negative way. It actually has made me personally a better person and a more caring person, right?
So,
Mhm.
Monica, I have a question for you.
Yeah, Brittany,
For
go ahead.
example, so I have no problem with doing that. Like, I can build on relationships. That's the easy part for me. But say, for instance, you're doing an open house. So I want to start doing open houses so, I can get myself out there.
Mhm.
When you go to an open house, I want as much information I can get from that person. But you know how some people are come in and they're standoffish. But what method did you use? Did you have a contact card or a form that they would fill out, or what did you do for that lead?
So I had a sign-in sheet back then because I haven't actively sold real estate since 2015. So I used a paper that said, name, do you have an agent, email, phone number. A lot of times people write fake stuff down, right? The way that I got around people writing fake stuff down is I offered a door prize.
So that's what I learned yesterday. So offering a door prize or offering them something, and then in order for them to get that, they have to fill out the information.
Yeah, because else, how else are you going to contact them to let them know that they won that gift basket or whatever else it was? It doesn't have to be anything crazy, right?
It can be something simple.
Maybe it's a Starbucks travel mug and a bag of Starbucks coffee grounds in a little basket.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense.
Incentive for lead capture. And that's a great question. And those people from that open house have now become leads, right? Because when we looked at this, prospecting and marketing leads to leads, right? These are people that we don't know. We just captured their information. You just captured their information at that open house. You have not started having a two-way conversation with them yet, really. You only got to talk to them at the open house. The key is in the follow-up, also known as the fortune is in the follow-up. Post open house, you need to start communicating with them. The fear of missing out, the FOMO, at least you get to call them and say if they did or did not win the thing. And I may or may not be sneaky enough that everybody won something, because that gave me 2 chances to talk to them. I got to call them to tell them they won and deliver the present.
Yeah, that makes
right.
sense.
But it gives you an opportunity to start building that relationship with them, right? Because that's like a cold, well, slightly warm because they came into the open house, but it's not somebody that you know in a personal aspect. Like you get to run into these same baseball parents over and over again situation. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay. So that being said, here's the other cool thing. It's not just the people that you see all the time, although mine is a double whammy. Our baseball families are from North Carolina, Virginia, and South Carolina that were on that travel ball team. So the other people that you need to take into consideration are, who do you know in the following states? I'm not licensed in Virginia or South Carolina, but I know Keller Williams agents that are. So if those families need help, I'm still going to stay in contact with those families. I'm going to monitor and see if their kids get to commit to a college to play baseball. I'm going to congratulate them if that happens. If people give you fake information, guess what, y'all? Facebook. You just pop on Facebook and find them. You can't hide. It's 2022. Come on. You can find their information, right? I prefer to find information by having conversations, but I'm not above going in and finding them on Facebook or Instagram or wherever else to figure it out. And you can talk to people through instant messaging on those platforms. It's still a two-way conversation, right? So you are part of the biggest referral network in America, because there's 180,000 Keller Williams agents across this country. And we are going worldwide. We are adding worldwide offices all the time. So check out, make sure you're following Keller Williams on social, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, all the places, and that you're, looking at that kind of stuff, because if you know people in other countries, we're expanding there too. Okay? We're expanding there too. It's at the bottom, Kelly. It's the who do you people, it's who do you know down here. People you know is the link that you're talking about. Yep. Okay, cool. So use this, really use this list. If you're old school, print it out and write them down and then add them. Okay. But remember, with the database, the rule is if you put junk in, you get junk out. So if you put, emails that don't work, and, like I literally, y'all, when I go back and look at the contacts on my phone, man who walked into open house at 801 Miller Street. Yep, that's an actual person in my phone. Man who walked into open house. I was scared. I didn't ask his name. What good does that do me? Really? So you might start out that way too, and that's okay. It's training yourself to grow out of that, pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zone. That's how we grow. Okay. I would never do that now. Oh, wait. Are there people in the waiting room? Hold on. Because if they are, I feel bad. Oops. Usually I get a little pop-up. Stephanie, I'm sorry that you were in the waiting room. If she can hear me, now I feel bad. Okay. Cool deal. So, yeah, call these people. All these people that invite, I know y'all know people that invite you to Pampered Chef and Mary Kay and all these other things. Reciprocate that right on around. You go to that Pampered Chef party and you give your business card out to everybody there. I know it happens. What's that other one? The shampoo and stuff. I always forget the name of it. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, cool deal. So let's move into command now. Let's talk about how we get to command. Agent.kw.com. That's where we go. Agent.kw.com should lead you to, let me log out. This screen right here. Okay. Bookmark this, make your life easier, like I did up here. Another tip for when you're using command, use Google Chrome. Even if you're on a Mac, use Google Chrome. Does anybody have any questions about that? Google Chrome is just where the internet's built, y'all. It's going to have the least glitches when it comes to technology platforms. Doesn't mean you can't use Safari, but if you're in Safari and something's not working right, your first step is to go to Google Chrome, and more than likely it's going to work. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to log in with our KW credentials and jump into the command system. Stephanie, don't be mad at us. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were in the waiting room, or not us, me. I didn't get the little pop-up that you were there. All right. So once I log into command, I'm going to show up here on the home screen. And this is customizable. just like your cell phone. I always like to remind everybody that essentially command is just like your phone or any other piece of technology. This is your home screen. It's got widgets, just like your phone does, right? The weather widget, all these other ones. It's got apps that came pre-installed. They're over here on the left. That's what these are. If you ever forget what these are, you can click this white KW on the red background and boop, pop it out. Those are your pre-installed apps on your technology platform. Up here, we have a store, just like you have on your cell phone, where you can go and purchase additional pieces of technology that work in conjunction with the technology that you're provided. Make sense? And this little home screen is customizable. So you can click customize home. And maybe you're like, I'm a huge note taker and I need my notes front and center. Then you can drag them all the way up and click apply. And boom, now your notepad's at the top. Or maybe you're like, I take notes in Apple Notes or whatever it's called, and you don't need this. And you can just turn it off and click apply. And there you go. Okay. So we have tasks. We have recent leads. We have our database health score. The reason for the database health score is for everything I just told you. If you put junk in, you get junk out. So they want you to try to get phone numbers and emails and home addresses and what neighborhood that address is in and birthdays and all that kind of other stuff. So what makes a contact have 100% database score is that it's got a phone number, an email, an address, and a neighborhood. And then one other piece of information: company name, birthday, home anniversary, something else besides those 4 key elements, right? If you're a competitive person like I am, you can compare yourself to other people, other agents. So agents in my market center, my license is hung in Winston-Salem. I win 62% to 57.8%. I am the winner. I can compare myself to agents in the state. All KW agents. Agents in the production bracket above mine, still winning. But watch what happens. Let me see. I have been working on it, so we're going to see what happens. Agents in the top production bracket. Did I win? I think I did. They were beating me, agents in the top production bracket, and it made me mad. I noticed it last month when I was teaching this. Yeah, I got it. All right, cool. So now I'm winning everywhere. So that's how I motivate myself, right? James Shaw, if you don't know who that is, look him up, talks about gamifying your business. Because guess what, y'all? Success is boring. It requires that you do the same stuff over and over and over again. And that can get tedious and it can get boring, and it's necessary if you want to be successful, right? So gamify your business. Tell yourself, okay, is my goal this week that I get 20 people in my command database with full information, with 100% database health score? And if I do that for myself for 6 weeks straight, I'm going to buy myself that purse, that pair of shoes, that whatever it is that your heart desires. Set it as a goal for yourself and say, I've got to add 20 contacts a week with full information or I can't get it. Right? That gives us something to do. And success in real estate, as Gary Keller puts it, is like a hockey stick. Hopefully everybody's seen a hockey stick. You work and you work and you work and you work and everything stays flat and you're like, God, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And then you shoot up and you get some closings and you're like, yes. But what happens is that usually when people start shooting up like that, they stop lead generating. And then guess what happens? And then you have no deals again because you stop lead generating while you're facilitating the transactions that you won. Don't do that. You got to keep doing both together. Okay? Got to keep doing both together. So the easiest way to do that is to systematize what you're doing, because once you have the system in place, all you got to do is implement, right? A lot of it can be automated through command. So just remember that. But work on that database health score. It will really help you. You can also set goals in here. We're going to look at that on Friday. Okay. You see product updates down here at the bottom. These were last week's updates. We got a new version of the Command app last week. So you can see this is always being updated, just like your cell phone's never going to stop getting updates. Command is not going to stop getting updates. We own it. We own the data. We built it, and we can continue to improve it. Okay. We have notifications up here in the upper right corner. We get lots of different notifications about lots of different things. Mine are going to look different than yours. I'm also a labs advisor, so I get some early access to stuff that you guys might not see yet. So if it doesn't look exactly the same, just disregard. Yours is correct. It's not wrong. Okay. But that's where your notifications are. Got recent leads showing up. Activity tracking, which I'm going to show you where that goes. If you're on a team, your Rainmaker, that includes productivity coaching, has to set up this activity tracker. But if you're an individual agent, you can set it up for yourself. You can see new designs that got added to the designs library and all that kind of fun stuff here. So any questions on the home screen? Everybody feeling good about that? And just like your phone, y'all, the more you use this, the easier it is to use. If you're not a techie person, when you first get in here, you might go, ah, that's a lot of stuff. Don't be scared of it. You can't break it. Just go in here and explore, right? The only two things that you have to do in Command, honestly, and I'm very honest with you guys, you don't have to use this. You're an independent contractor. You can go get whatever kind of stuff you want to use, right? The only two things you have to do in here is turn in your paperwork and request to get paid for your deal. That's it. It's not my job to sell you on this system. It's my job to show you what it can do for you, what it can do for your business, and how it can benefit you at no additional cost to you, because I've spent thousands of dollars on Top Producer and Brivity and third-party websites, Z57, you know, task things. We have our own task app built right in here into the system. I used to pay like $7 or $8 a month for a task app called Todoist so that I didn't forget to do stuff. Built in right there, right? So it doesn't mean that there's not other stuff that you can use by any stretch of the imagination. That's why they gave us a store too, to give us a place to go to get stuff that integrates with Command. Okay. All right, we're going to move into settings real quick. So I'm going to drop this down in the upper right corner. If you are on a team, including productivity coaching, that is considered a team in Command, you're going to see a personal account like that right there. And you're going to see your team account. And in parentheses, it should say whatever you are: buyer's agent, listing agent, the leader, the Rainmaker, right? And you can toggle back and forth between the two. That is going to be important to keep in mind as we move forward. But we're going to click on settings. Okay. So once we are back here in settings, the first place it takes us is to our integrations page. So you're going to see DocuSign, Chapel Hill, Winston-Salem. Most of you use DocuSign. Okay. Some Greensboro folks use Dotloop. DocuSign is the one that is provided to us at no additional cost to us by Keller Williams. Dotloop, if you're in Greensboro, your market center chose to keep that on board for Greensboro agents. So if you still use it, it's great. But you also have access to DocuSign because that's what KW provides to us. A handful of teams in my other two market centers opted in to keep Dotloop. If that is the case, you want Dotloop connected. If you're not going to be using Dotloop, you don't need to have it connected. You can just click disconnect account on the right-hand side because you don't need to have it there. And vice versa. If you're a Dotloop user, you don't need to have DocuSign connected unless you just want to have them both. I have them both for the purposes of teaching, but DocuSign is the one that I use. Okay. Facebook. You're going to see two connections for Facebook. One is for post scheduling. This is free social media posts to Facebook through Command. You have to have a Facebook business page in order to do this. Second connection is the Facebook Ads Manager. This is to do paid ads. Again, have to have a Facebook business page in order to create paid ads through Facebook. And we're going to talk about ads and social posts on Thursday. Instagram just got connected, recently updated. If you have not gone back here, if you're an existing agent, not just joined, you can now connect your Instagram for social post scheduling, which is great. You can also do the same thing with Twitter. We've had that. Porch. This is a repair estimate report. So if you're helping someone purchase a home, okay, and they get an inspection done, that inspector is going to give you back a summary. You can upload the summary into Porch. It's free. And you get back a repair estimate that says to repair everything on this summary list, it would cost approximately this amount of money. Okay. Keller Covered is our insurance provided to us by Keller Williams. It's home insurance for our clients at a discounted rate. You can connect your Google Calendar and Gmail. We'll see why when we move into contacts. And you can connect Office 365, Twitter ads, Google AdWords. Don't use that yet. It's not ready. Command email. So when you're sending emails through the command system, you're using command mail. You have an agent identifying number, and the email it comes from is agent1234567@kw.com in parentheses, and then it says your name. So it says from Monica Perry, in parentheses it says agent12345, and if they reply, it's going to go to whichever email you have set as your reply mail. So please make sure that you come in here and click this manage button over on the right of command mail, and make sure the reply to email is an email that you're actually going to be checking. Because if not, and you put people on a smart plan, or you send out a campaign email and they reply and it goes to like this Gmail account that you originally used to sign up at KW, but you don't use it anymore, like me. I don't use this email really. So if they reply to it, I wouldn't see it. So make sure that it's an email that you actually check. Cool. You can add an additional email too. So if you get like monicaperry.com as your email, you can come in here and add that. You get 5,000 free emails per month. And then after that, if you have a super huge database, you can pay to upgrade if you need to. MailChimp. This is one of those things that you can use it if you want to, but you don't have to. Before we had command mail, MailChimp was our email provider. Some people liked it and wanted to keep it, so they left the connection there for us. But if you don't use MailChimp, you've never used MailChimp, you don't need to learn how to use MailChimp unless you just want to. Okay. And last but certainly not least is Twilio. I'm going to go ahead and put a disclaimer out there right now. Twilio is not accepting new people at the time. They got in a little bit of trouble because people were misusing this bulk texting platform. So while they're in the middle of that happening, they're not allowing us to create new accounts for bulk text messaging at this time. As soon as they lift that, I will let you know. Okay. But we're not going to dig into that today because of that. Just know that it's for mass texting. It's for automated texting through the command system. It does not come from your cell phone number. It comes from your Twilio number. So once it's back up and running, if you're interested in getting it, I'm happy to help you get that done. Okay. So any questions on these settings and connections? Last thing, if you're going to be using DocuSign, it got set up for you by Scott Lori Marketing if you're a new agent, and Scott didn't go in there and add your National Association of Realtor credentials, also known as your NERDS ID, NRDS ID. So when you first log into DocuSign, make sure that you connect it. If you have questions, let me know. We will look at doing transactional based things tomorrow, which are the only things that you have to do, right, in the system. But you don't have to use DocuSign. You can use ink and paper if you want, okay? But I just like to show you guys how to use DocuSign because it is what most people use. Good deal. All right, real quick, we're going to look at where you set up your activity tracking. There's a whole lot of stuff back here in command settings to keep in mind, but we're not going to dive into all of it today. What I am going to show you is if you're an individual agent and you want to set up goal setting or activity tracking, you're going to expand command settings. You're going to come down to reporting, and then you're going to click on activity tracking, and you can set up when do you want to get your first reminder? When should I submit my activity for today by? This is just to help you stay accountable. And this is what it looks like when you get it. Happy Monday. Let's start fresh. Tell us about your day. Click it. And it's going to say, how many people did you talk to today? Did you have a good day or a bad day? How many hours did you spend talking to these people? What did you do to find these people? Is everyone you spoke to captured in your database? How many appointments did you set? How many appointments did you attend? And on and on and on, right? If your team has this set up for you, they'll already have it set up for you. If you want to set it up for yourself, this is how you do it, by doing this here. Make sure you give yourself at least one day off a week, please. And make sure that you schedule time off for yourself. You have days off down here at the bottom. Do not burn yourself out. Give yourself some time off. Okay? And then you'll receive those emails during the day to remind you to turn your stuff in. I have to be kept accountable to what I say I want to do, or I won't do it. So that's one of the ways I keep myself accountable. Okay? Last but not least, back here in settings, and probably the most important for all of you. So if you zoned out because you were like, accountability, I don't want to hear about that. Let's bring it back. Bring it back. So again, we dropped down and we came to settings. I want to come over to the left and click connect settings and marketing profile. Marketing profile. This is an important place. Make sure that your picture is here. Make sure that your team logo is here, right? Your license number, your credentials, your biography, your cell phone number, your email address, your company stuff, your company license number, your license number. Make sure this stuff is filled in because this is the stuff that populates your website, right? This is the stuff that shows up right here on your website. That's where my logo came from. That's where my team logo came from. It's where my pictures populating, my cell phone number, my email address, my license number, all of the things and all of this stuff down here at the bottom, including my socials, right? If you don't have them in your marketing profile, they are not showing up on your website. They're not showing up in your mobile app. They're not going to be populating into the designed emails that you make in the system that we're going to look at on Thursday. Okay, so make sure that you have that set up. Any questions on settings, marketing profile, activity tracker? Everybody good? All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Get some coffee, get some water, stretch your legs, stretch your back, whatever you need to do. We're going to come back and add contacts and talk about my 5 favorite and easiest smart plans that you can put people on, and then we'll be done for the day. So take that 5-minute break and enjoy, and I'll see you guys in just a few. Okay, so I have a question in the chat, the brokerage logo. So the brokerage logo is down here on your marketing profile, and this is your market center specific logo. So for Winston-Salem, KW Elite, for Greensboro, KW1, for Chapel Hill, KW United. Okay, that's a great question. So we have multiple forms of this logo. Okay, KW1, because you guys recently merged together, your market center has uploaded your logos into the Facebook group for you to download. But if you don't see them, shoot me an email and I have that link and I will send it back to you via email. Winston-Salem and Chapel Hill. if you
So
go,
we can,
go ahead.
sorry.
Kelly. No, it's
So
okay.
we can change that out. It doesn't have to be that particular one. There's several options to replace that with.
There are. So if you
Okay.
go to kwconnect.com. So kwconnect.com. And you hover over resources on the black bar. Then you're going to come down to marketing. This is a good place to know to go anyway. You're going to see logos and branding right here. So when you click on this, the identity and style guide is here. So if you decide to design t-shirts, custom signs, whatever, this helps you familiarize yourself with KW standards of what you're supposed to do and what you're allowed to do. And if you keep scrolling a little bit, you're going to come down to Market Center logos. So again, I'll double check Greensboro while we're here. But 685 is Chapel Hill. So if you type in your Market Center number, 685 United, you can download the whole suite of logos here. If you type in 994, that is Winston-Salem, Market Center number 994, KW Elite. You can download the whole suite of logos there. And let me double check Greensboro to see if they've added it yet. I think that still says KW Greensboro, yeah. So use the ones that are in your company's Facebook group, but if you don't see them, shoot me an email and I will share them with you, the ones that say KW1. Okay, great question. All right, good deal. So let us look at adding contacts. Okay, I'm going to click my home button and take us back onto our home screen, dashboard. And remember I said if you click on the white KW on the red background, it'll pop these out. So we're going to move into contacts, which is our first little applet below our home button. We'll talk about the dashboard of contacts a little bit, and then we'll move into adding an actual contact. Okay. So YouTube does not like for us to show people's contact information. So I'm moving it off because if I don't, they'll take down the video. So this is contacts. This is what it looks like. You can see their names. You can customize the columns, which is what I want to show you. So you can choose what you want to see in a specific view. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to remove phone number and email. And then I can move all this stuff around, right? So I can see who's recently active, last contacted, tags. I can move it up if I want tags to come first. I can move all those things around and click apply, and it's going to change the view that I see. And then if I like this view, for example, and I'm not going to show phone numbers again because of YouTube, if I wanted everyone's phone numbers to be listed first and then their custom tags, then I could fix it that way. And then I can come to this little drop down and I can click Create Smart View and give it a name. And that way, every time that I come back into contacts, I can just click the drop down and choose that view if it's something specific that I want to see, whether that be a certain tag, a certain order of the contact information on the screen. I can save that smart view and get to it super easily. I also wanted to show you, I have 1,400 plus contacts in here. Currently, I'm showing 1 through 50 of that 1,400 plus contacts. I can drop this, look at 10 at a time, 25 at a time, 50, 100, or 500. What I will tell you about 500, I do like it for bulk actions, which I'm about to show you. But as you saw, it takes it a little bit of time to load, and it's just because it's so much data. So I don't like to live in 500 because it moves too slow. I like to live in 50, but if I want to take a bulk action, I do use this 500 view because I can now select everybody by clicking the check mark on the gray bar, and that will select 500 at a time, which is our max. Okay. So now I have some bulk actions I can take. I could add an activity, a note, a tag, an email list. If I'm using MailChimp, that's what that button is for. I can add them to a SmartPlan, which we're going to look at after we look at contacts. I could archive those people. So maybe you got started and you uploaded a bunch of people and then you're like, I'm not really happy with this. You could archive them. There is a double deletion process intentionally in this system, so you don't accidentally delete somebody you didn't mean to delete. So first step is archive. Second step is to go back into settings where we were previously, get to your archive and permanently delete the people that you archived so you don't accidentally delete something you didn't mean to delete. Changing account. If you were on a team, including productivity coaching, most of the time your transactions that we're going to look at tomorrow are going to run through the team. So changing the account, remember we looked at personal and team. If you're going to have a transaction under your team, you need to move your contact from your personal account to your team account. You maintain ownership of the contact. You're the only person that can edit the contact. You and your rainmaker or productivity coach, as well as the administrative team, are the only people that can see your contact. So other agents on the team cannot see your contact when you do this. It's simply so you can complete your transaction under your team umbrella. And then once that closes, you can move your contact back to your side. Okay, so that's what the change account button means. And we'll look at that a little bit more tomorrow. You could export all of these people. You could export them as mailing labels. Christmas is coming up. The holidays are coming up. You might want to send out cards. So you can export mailing labels both in a CSV Excel sheet file, or you can export them as a PDF to print directly onto those Avery type labels. You can mark them as a lead. Remember, these are people that we've had one-way conversations with. We're offering to help them. They haven't responded yet. That's a lead. You could remove tags from people in bulk. Once Twilio comes back up, if you don't have it already, you can send bulk text messages. You can share a copy of these contacts. So if you have someone who is helping you as an administrative assistant, but they're not actually like part of your team in command, you can share a copy of the contacts with them if they have a command account. And you can unmark as a lead in bulk. So those are all of your bulk actions. Okay, we can change our view. We're currently in this tighter list view. There's a more comfortable list view by clicking the box that looks like this. Move that back so we don't show people's contacts. And in the upper right corner, we can export all of the contacts that we own. We can export mailing labels for all of the contacts that we own as a CSV or a PDF from the three dots. And last but certainly not least, we can import. So if you're a person that loves spreadsheets and those 200 contacts that, you know, I was talking about, you would rather work on that in a spreadsheet format, then you can do so. And then you can import that spreadsheet to import all of those contacts into command. So previously we could only use this pre-made command template that you can download with this button here. It's a very long spreadsheet. If you don't like that, you can make your own as long as it has column headers. It can be super simple and look something like, find a test one. Can look that simple: name, phone, email, birthday, note. Right? You can just make a simple little spreadsheet and you can upload that, and there is a wizard that walks you through putting them in the correct position. It's really up to you which way you like to do it. I prefer, and this again is because I've taught myself how to do this, I prefer working in command. And a lot of people are like, well, it takes forever to add a contact. Yes, and I personally like to be super intentional when I'm putting contacts in and give it as much info as I possibly can and potentially call the person while I'm adding their contact so that I can have a conversation with them and take notes on anything that we were talking about. But we are independent contractors and that is up to your personal preference. So KW has given us every option to do this the way that we want to do it for our business. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about contacts, like the overview of what it looks like, how to organize through it? We have filters, of course, where you can filter down with tags, when we created them, and all that kind of fun stuff. Recently active means that we've been having some kind of recent interaction with them. Just trying to think of last little things. If they have a green check mark, that means that they are connected. They have an account on your agent website or your mobile app. That's what the green check mark means. And the little L is if they're marked as a lead. So any questions there before we go into adding a contact itself? Good? Nothing in the chat?
Monica, quick thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I missed it. What does a check mark mean again?
Mhm.
What does a green check mark mean?
Yeah, the check mark means that they have a account on your agent website. So we have a website where people can search for homes. And if they have an account, which means they have a login to it, it will show this little green check mark that they have an agent site connection. And that means that within the contact, and you'll be able to see that here in a second, that you can see what they're liking and what they're doing on your website.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great question. All right. Cool deal. So let's go ahead and click add a contact in the upper right corner. So this is what adding a contact looks like. So you would put their name in, their email, phone number. There's this button that says add a relationship. Everyone in command needs to have their own contact. And if they're married, partners, brothers, cousins, whatever, and you want to show that connection, then you do not say test contact and test lead contact for a married couple and then put their information in. You create the first person, you click add relationship, you start typing the name of the second person, and it will connect the two contacts together. Okay, so that's how that works. You would enter their phone. I'm not actually going to create this person. I'm going to take you into a fake contact for the purposes of this video here in just a second. So lead source, this is another super important thing. If you can't look back at the end of the year and determine where you found the people that you're talking to, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because if I find out at the end of the year that 50% of the people that I've added to my database came from my sphere of influence, 30% of the people that I've added to my database came from open houses, 10% of the people I've added to my database came from other activities like baseball and places that I go, and 5% of the people I've added to my database came from door knocking, and 5% came from postcards. Door knocking takes a lot of time. Postcards takes a lot of money, and I'm only getting 5% of my people from it. Is it good for me to continue to invest that time and money there? Probably not. Right? But I can't have those insights if I'm not telling the system where I met the person. So under lead source, we have agent, you have allied resources, that center target, right? I added baseball because that's a huge part of our life. So that is an actual lead source for me. I used to belong to a group called Business Networking International, or BNI. So I also added that. There's some pre-installed stuff, right? Call-ins, circle prospecting, postcards, direct mail, door knocking, email, Facebook. There's all these ones that came pre-installed, but you can also add your own custom ones by simply typing it. I've just got to type something that doesn't exist. Since this does not exist in my system, I now have the ability to create that custom lead source. So if there's something you do, like you're the director of an art foundation, you're the ambassador to something, you're super involved in politics, whatever it is, and that becomes a lead source for you, then you can add that customized lead source to your own database to use over and over again. You can also make a lead source a person by clicking select from contacts. So my brother, we're both from here in Winston-Salem. He moved to UNC Charlotte to go to school a long time ago. I like to pick on him for that because he's older than me. But he moved to Charlotte to go to school, and he decided he loved Charlotte and he stayed there, but he still knows a lot of people here. So if my brother calls me and says, hey, my friend Brad from high school thinks he wants to buy a house, can you help him? That contact was from my brother. So my brother is in fact the lead source of that contact. And if he gives me enough of those, I might want to upgrade his Christmas present this year. Right? So again, can't track that unless you add it here. Any questions on lead source? Good. Okay, tags, probably my most favorite thing because segmenting our database is super important. So you can, we've got installed tags
Monica,
already.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No,
I have
ask
a hard
questions.
time always finding my button to talk to you because I'm on two different screens. Can you go back
hit
to
your
that?
space bar, Kelly, just so you know, if you hold down your space bar, it'll let you
Okay.
talk, just so you know.
Because I'm slow in navigating from my two screens. So go back to that lead source one,
Yeah.
the select from contacts.
Mhm.
So how would we label that?
Yep. So my brother's already in my database.
Okay.
Okay. So if he sent me this person that I'm adding, then my brother is the lead source.
I'm sorry, it's really loud outside of where I'm at. Maybe mute myself.
Okay. So hopefully that answers. So if you have to already have the contact in your database.
Oh, okay. So it's only the person that you put. You don't also label it from like I know a lot of people in the Virgin Islands because I grew up there. So I would put that as a select from list of the islands. But if I had a person who kept making referrals, how would I search them out, or how would I use that? Like when you use your brother, how would you use that?
Yeah, you can see it in the lead source. Like when we're in that contact view where you can see everybody in the columns, I can make lead source a column and look at it so I can differentiate where they all came from.
Just to know that they came from your brother so you could, like you said, upgrade his Christmas list.
Right.
Okay, thank
Give
you.
him a better present, right? If he's sending me a bunch of business. Good deal. All right, so we can mark them as a lead and we can use tags. So the pre-installed tags are gray, like agent, buyer, seller, previous client. There's a bunch of them in here. Allied resource. We have tags that were already installed and they're gray in color. But there's one, buyers. But we can also create our own custom tags, just like we can create our own custom lead source. So if you can see in the background of my screen, I have KW1 as a tag. That's my Greensboro agents. I have Chapel Hill as a tag. That's my Chapel Hill agents. And that way I can segment out my database by filtering through the use of a tag. So you can use tags for all kinds of stuff, right? Where you know them from, are they a luxury client? Are they an allied resource? A lot of people use the DTD2 database tagging system to help them segment out their database. And you could do that, like the CNK and all that kind of stuff. We don't have time to deep dive into that. But you can use it for all kinds of stuff. So I really, really love tags, and you'll see some tags here in a minute when we go into an actual contact. But the same thing, if you don't have a tag that exists, you can, if you like bowling, you could start typing bowling and you can create that custom tag, and you can choose a color for that tag and then click add. And now this tag exists for me to use over and over again for anybody that I add that I met at bowling. Right? So that's how tags work. Any questions up till now? Nothing in the chat. Oh.
Monica, so the tag that you add, is that available for everyone to see, or it'll be just for you?
No, it's just for you.
Okay.
Just for you. Great question.
So Monica, can you explain the difference between the benefits of using tags versus lead?
Lead source. So
Yeah.
Tags is more like something I'm going to use all year long. Right. I want to send everybody that I bowl with, and I don't bowl, I'm just using it as something because I knew I never used it before. I want to send everybody that I bowl with a Christmas card that says something about getting a strike, right? To be witty. And I want to send everybody that I play baseball with a card that says something about hitting a home run, right? Segmenting so that I can target my message. Lead source is more like my brother sent me this person to purchase a house, or I ran a Facebook ad and picked up this person that purchased the house. So at the end of the year, I want to look back to see where all my business came from.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll keep asking those questions. I love it. Good. And you can do multiple tags. So maybe I met them at bowling. They're a buyer. And I always tag my people by the year that I met them. So maybe they're 2022. And I don't know. I guess that's good enough. Maybe they bought a luxury house. I have a luxury tag. Okay. So you can apply multiple tags to one person because people might fall into different buckets. Right. This tags are really good for customizing people's experience with you, because in the age of Netflix and everything else, people are used to a curated experience. So I don't want to get a generic email about the market in California because I don't care. I don't live in California. I live in Winston-Salem. I want to know what's happening here locally, right? It gives you the ability to target people with a specific message. All right. So that's the end of that one. We can expand additional contact information. This is where we can put in their preferred method of contact. This is important. How did I say at the beginning of class is the best way to contact me? Who remembers?
By phone call and text?
Text. Why? Because I'm usually in Zoom, so I can't answer the phone. So when I gave y'all a 5-minute break, I had 15 text messages that I was answering and saying, I'll be out at 12 and I can help you, right? So text is the best way to get in touch with me. My mom hates text messaging. She hates it. She wants you to call her. So that's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to know, right? So if somebody has an additional email, additional phone number, maybe if they're at work from 7:30 to 5, they're not allowed to answer their personal phone because of security or some other reason. And if you need to get in touch with them, you need to call them on a second number at their office. Then you can do that there. Okay. Primary address. These addresses are going to be populated by Google. If I start typing, Google is going to start giving me addresses. Okay. If it is a new construction and it doesn't yet exist in Google, then you can come down here to the bottom and click create manually to add that new construction address so that you know where to mail their Christmas cards, birthday cards, holiday cards, whatever you need to mail to their home. Make sense? So Google will pick it up if it exists already. If it's new construction, you're going to create manually. You can add their social media profiles in here. Any questions on that? Good. Under about, legal name. My name is Monica M. Perry. If I sign a document, I need to sign that document, Monica M. Perry. My brother and sister-in-law call me Monty because they've been calling me that since I was a kid. So if you know somebody by a loving name like that, but that's not their actual name, I know one on this call was Lynn. That's not his legal name. It's not how he should sign, right? So if I put him in my database that way so that I know to call him that, I also need to add his legal name for when I'm getting documents signed so I know what it is. Okay. And if it's your client, that's a question that you would need to ask them anyway to make sure. Okay. It's where you can add their birthday, home anniversary, other relationships. So we looked at the connection at the top. But if you also wanted to add additional relationships like their parents and spouses and stuff like that, or spouse and children, the rule I make for my database, and your database is your own to do with as you wish. My daughter and son can't purchase a home. They're too young. So I wouldn't add them as a relationship and give them their own contact, but my brother can. So if you know me and then you meet my brother, you would definitely want to add my brother as a contact because my brother very well could purchase a home. So that's just a rule that I use for my database. I add children's names in a different spot. Okay. Work. This is where you can add a company name and their job title. If you see that they get a new job on LinkedIn or something, you might want to send them a handwritten card. Handwritten cards are a long lost art that I don't think enough people do anymore, and people really actually like getting them. So that's a good way to do a touch of your 36. My second favorite thing in here is custom fields. These, to me, are the relationship builders. This is where I add children's names. This is where I add pet names. This is where I add what college they went to. Who's their favorite baseball team? I don't even want to talk about professional baseball right now because I want to cry because my Yankees suck. Can't believe they lost last night. You can add their favorite beverages, their favorite college basketball team. Where do they like to go eat? What kind of pie do they like at Thanksgiving? If you're going to do a Thanksgiving pie giveaway, you can add multiple custom tags to multiple people, right? So all those relationship builders, in my opinion, come in here. And on this screen where we can filter by that stuff, let me come in here and customize my columns. If you look over here on the left, these are all of my custom tags. So college attended, favorite baseball team, favorite football team. I'm proud of my football team, so I'll use that one, right? Go Cowboys. But a lot of times real estate agents buy like calendars of a football team. So if I know who everyone in my database likes in the NFL, and I know that I need to get 100 Dallas Cowboys calendars and 2 Redskins calendars, Commanders calendars and 0 Eagles calendars, because boo, then I have a list of that because I can filter by who likes what football team. I'm just using that as a joke. You guys would probably do something a little more, no offense if you're an Eagles fan, I just bitter. But that way you can customize your columns and see, I need to order this many of this one and this many of this one and this many of this one, if that was something you were going to be doing. Okay. So you can filter with that kind of stuff. So I love that. So let's go into a contact. I'm happy that we're having good conversations, but we are starting to run out of time. So I want to make sure that I cover this. Dakota Perry is my dog. YouTube, it's a dog, and this is fake information. So please don't take my video down. Thank you. So this is Dakota's contact card. He's my test contact, him and his sister Sasha. They do have real Gmail accounts, but they are dogs. Okay. Fake phone numbers. So this is what a good quality contact looks like. Dakota is connected to my agent site. His database health score is 100%. He is part of my family. I met him in 2021 or 2020 because that's when he was born. He's a buyer, right? All these things. He came from my sphere of influence. There's that lead source. Here's that account information, team versus personal. He is in my personal account and I'm the owner of his contact. If I move him over to my team, I stay the owner of his contact. The account just changes to the name of my team. Okay. I have his home address in here, and that home address came with the neighborhood Skybrook in Huntersville. The neighborhoods are populated by a company called Nextdoor. Is it perfect? No. I told you guys that I'm honest. Is it the best option on the market? Yes. There is nothing that gives more neighborhood information 10/24/2022 than Nextdoor. If it ever changes that someone else does give better information, then we might change it at KW. But for right now, this is the best place to get neighborhood information is from Nextdoor. But it is not always perfect. if the address exists in an existing next door neighborhood, it is going to automatically assign that neighborhood to that contact when you added their address. If it doesn't exist, I live in Winston-Salem. When you start going out by way of Yadkinville, Davidson County, Lexington, there's not as many established neighborhoods in that next door system in those areas. Okay, let's talk about how you add them, because adding neighborhoods is super important. We're going to click add neighborhood. If we know the name of the neighborhood, we can search for it. Like I know that Buena Vista, and yes, it's Buena if you live in Winston-Salem, if you ever want to sell a house in there, and not Buena, which is that way it was actually supposed to be pronounced. But nonetheless, I know it exists, so it's right there, and I can look it up by that. But if I'm like, I have no idea what that neighborhood is called, I can click find on map, and then I can type in that person's address and search for it. It's going to give me a pinpoint, and then I can start zooming in to the address, and I can see what neighborhoods exist, and I can apply multiple neighborhoods to one contact. The benefit of having neighborhoods is there is a smart plan called the monthly neighborhood nurture and a smart plan called the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. We talked about needing to give people 36 touches in 1 year, right? That's 12 or 24 out of the way, depending on if you're using the monthly or the bi-weekly. So I'm going to click preview on this map. Those are the neighborhoods I currently have for Dakota. He is going to get an email that says, here's what's happening in your neighborhood, right? He's going to get one each month. It's going to have all these neighborhoods. He is going to be able to see what's for sale in all of these neighborhoods. The reason that I like to have multiple neighborhoods for each contact, if you didn't notice, in Sherwood Forest Road neighborhood, there's nothing for sale. That would be an awfully boring email to get. Here's your neighborhood. There's nothing for sale. So, you know, so I like to give people multiple neighborhoods. Where did you grow up? Where do you live now? If you made a move, reasonably speaking, where do you think you would move within the next year? If you woke up in the morning with $20 million, where would you move? To the beach? Beachfront? What beach? Carolina Beach, Curie Beach? Cool. Then you can add some beach houses. People love to look at houses. I love to look at beach houses, right? You can add that, and that's just something fun for them to look at each month. It doesn't mean that they're going to buy something from you right at this particular time, but it's just a way for you to be like, hey, I'm here. Here's some cool houses to look at. I know you've always wanted to live at the beach. There it is, right? This is what that email looks like. Monthly neighborhood update. Neighborhood trends. These are the neighborhoods that he follows. He gets this email. It's branded to me. This is why I said your marketing profile is so important with all of your information, because it fills all this stuff in, right? In this email and all this stuff at the top. And then when he clicks into it, he can look at all the different neighborhoods he's following. And he can even choose to add a new neighborhood to follow. Maybe he wants to know what his family out in San Antonio, Texas is doing. Then he could add a place out there in San Antonio, Texas to look at and keep up with. Okay. So that's the importance of adding neighborhoods to contacts. You can't put them on that monthly neighborhood nurture email unless they have neighborhoods in their contact card. And that's just a simple email. It goes on forever. I think Wynn has me on one from, gosh, I don't even know, 2 years ago when I taught a class in Greensboro, and he put me on it, and I get it like clockwork every month, right? And I get those from lots of agents, and I'm glad that they put me on them, because I know if they're putting their clients on it, their clients are getting that email once a month, right? I bet Lynn hadn't even thought about the fact that he put me on that smart plan that long ago, but I still get it. So I still think of him once a month, every month when I get that email, whether I've talked to him or not, right? So that's why they are powerful. And plus, I know I've got myself on that smart plan. And guess what? 2 houses down, the house sold for $405,000. Guess what else? They don't have as many bedrooms as me, or a pool, or a new roof, or a new heating and air conditioning system like I do. And guess what? I bought this house for $290,000. So you think when I saw that 405, I didn't go, huh, I wasn't really thinking about selling the house, and maybe I need to. That's the same same kind of thing that can happen when you put people on a monthly neighborhood nurture, right? They might see that their neighbor's house just sold for way more than they would have ever thought about it selling. And that might prompt them to sell theirs even if they hadn't thought about it. But you can see his birthday, his spouse, his company, and his favorite restaurant down here in his custom fields. If I had multiple custom fields for him, they would all show up there. Over here on the right-handed side, this is all of my timeline with Dakota. I can see emails that got sent. This one was sent from a SmartPlan, right? 5 jack-o'-lantern carving tips. It went out on the 22nd. I created a saved search for him. Dakota viewed a neighborhood. Let's see what else. A text went out to him. A task I created for him. A text I sent to him. He looked at a neighborhood, right? If you don't see anybody ever on your website and then all of a sudden they're looking at 45 houses, guess what? Maybe they're thinking about moving. Maybe their adult child said, I think I want to buy a house at home. I'm tired of being in Colorado away from you guys. And so they started looking. That is a prompt for you to reach out and be like, hey, I noticed you started looking at a bunch of houses lately. What's going on? You guys thinking about moving? Right? It's a reason to have a conversation because you've built that relationship. That's actually a comfortable conversation to have. Okay. When you talk to people on the phone, take notes, because the next time that you talk to them, the last time I talked to Dakota, he was at UNC Charlotte for a baseball tournament. So the next time I talk to him, I can say, hey, last time we chatted, you guys were headed to UNC Charlotte for that baseball tournament. How did they do? Oh, you guys won. That's awesome. Now I'm taking notes on that. Right. So
I have
that's
a question.
Go ahead.
Is this a place where you would keep like things that you would normally keep in writing for like legal purposes? Like if someone says like, I don't want to sign this document, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that, is this the place where you would document that? I mean, I'm sure you could document it, but like when it comes to like the legal side of things,
I would document it.
Do that or no?
That's a great question. And I would probably document it in opportunities, which is where our transactions are.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a place to take notes in there too, because that would be more transactional based, and this is more the person based area.
Okay.
But that's a great question. Absolutely. And I like double and triple watching my back. So I might also put it here as a note or something, like they don't want to sign the working with real estate agents.
Right. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Cool deal. Okay. So timeline is awesome. Opportunities, any transaction you have with them, obviously Dakota has 41 because he's my test contact. But, you know, if you sold them one house and then you help them sell that house and buy a bigger house, their opportunities will show up here in a timeline way. Any smart plans they're on, holiday smart plan, monthly neighborhood nurture, the quarterly call plan, right? Then they'll have all of those showing up, whichever smart plans they're on. You can set tasks straight out of here. You can set task on the home screen. You can set task in your task applet. You can set task from your command app on your phone. So lots of different spots. You can take your notes right here, and you can set them up saved searches from their contact card. So for those areas that there is not a good monthly neighborhood nurture, this is a way that you can set people up, because you can do it by zip code. You can do it by a drawn area on a map. And it's also just good for people that are actually looking for houses. I always get the question, is it better than the MLS? Not necessarily. The MLS is the source of all that data. It's always going to be faster because it is the source, right? And it's a little bit more customizable in the MLS. So what I like using these save searches for is people that have raised their hand and said that they might want to buy, but we haven't really had a buyer consultation. They said they like Ardmore, so I can set them up a save search for Ardmore, and they get kind of pretty looking emails from me that showed them that there's an updated thing, and this is what it looks like in a drawn area in the 27104 zip code. There's an upcoming open house, so they're getting that notification. And then when we get really into the nitty gritty and we're actually looking at houses, I might transfer currently over to the MLS. But all of this piece of command, the listing piece of command, is getting a massive update. So once that comes out, I can probably let go a little bit of that MLS. And that's probably the traditionalist in me too, because I've had the MLS for so long. So these are actually really nice emails. It does price updates, new listings, open houses when they get scheduled. The person can get notified about that kind of stuff right there from their save search. And you can set up multiple save searches for them. Okay, so a lot happening in a contact card. Okay, and quickly, because we're running out of time and I like to value you guys' time, I'm going to jump into SmartPlans. I'm going to show you which ones to go and get and download. And my goal for y'all is by the end of the week that you add 20 people that you know to your command database, and you put at least 10 of those 20 people on one smart plan. And you can include yourself in that. If you haven't added yourself as a contact to command, make yourself the first person that you add and put yourself on a smart plan. So we're going to jump into SmartPlans, and we can touch on them a little bit more tomorrow before we move into opportunities. Now that I'm in the SmartPlans applet, it's the fourth one on the left. Okay, I'm going to go over to the library tab. If you don't see anything here yet, that's okay. It's because you just got into the system. But we're going to move over to the library tab and look at these Keller Williams 10. So these are the ones that Keller Williams made for us. They're the only ones that currently have date-based triggers like birthdays and home anniversaries. Also going to be getting a major overhaul, and I cannot wait. But as they stand, still very good smart plans. So bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. We looked at the neighborhood nurture email. This sends one every 2 weeks. Go ahead and click add smart plan. I've already got it, so I can't download it and download it to your library. There's one. Quarterly call plan. Add smart plan, download it to your library. What that does is says call Dakota, then it delays for 90 days. Then it gives me a task to call Dakota again, because I'm supposed to be talking to people in my database a minimum of once every 90 days. That's your second one. Keep moving. Birthday. Love this one. View steps. Touch task. Before their birthday comes, it tells you to send them a handwritten birthday card to give you time to get it in the mail. It delays 4 days. The day before their birthday, it says call them and tell them happy birthday. Then it delays 1 day. On their birthday, it says send them a social media post to tell them happy birthday, because if we don't do it publicly, it doesn't count. And then there's also sending a text that says happy birthday here on their birthday, right? So this is nice and easy, but it helps you remember people's birthday. Okay, so that was 4. Monthly neighborhood nurture, 5. Done. No, home anniversary was 5. Sorry, I lost count. Home anniversary. So home anniversary, monthly neighborhood nurture, birthday, quarterly call plan, bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. Go ahead and get those downloaded. And just remember, for the monthly neighborhood nurture, you need your contact in command. They need to have at least one neighborhood, but preferably more. I showed you why, in case something's not for sale. And they need an email address. Those are the 3 things the contact needs to be put on that smart plan. And then you need the smart plan itself. And then remember, we talked about that bulk action in our contact card. So if you get all 20 of those people done and you're looking at 20 people on your screen, or 10 of those people on your screen, you can select all 10, bulk action, add to smart plan, come to this side, monthly. There it is, monthly neighborhood nurture, select, start them all on it, confirm, done. They're going to start getting this email once every month forever and ever, amen. It just doesn't cut off unless you cut it off or they unsubscribe, which we want to do everything in a TCPA compliant manner, the Consumer Protection Act. Down here, they have the ability to unsubscribe from your emails, right? So don't worry about that. It's there. But there's that agent identifier. We talked about that when we were in settings. I am agent 457148 at mailer.kw.com. But if Dakota replies to this email, it goes to my Monica Perry at kw.com email, because that is the one that I have designated in my settings to be my reply to email. Okay. Woo. Awesome, guys. You did it. You made it through day 1 of boot camp. I'm going to get this video put up. We'll briefly touch on smart plans in the morning. We do have the ability to build them and use other people's smart plans. But I highly recommend just starting with those first 5 to kind of ease your way into it. And then you can get more in depth with smart plans a little bit later as you go. I do specific classes on specific applets and specific things that we're doing. This is more of a broad overview of the whole system. So again, kwtechcoach.com, you can see what classes are coming up right there on the home screen and add them directly to your calendar. But I hope to see you guys back here in the morning. I know some of you said that you can't come every day, and that's okay. The videos are going to get added right here. But there's those classes, and here's a recent video. So this is just the most recent video that had good attendance that I thought you guys would enjoy right here on the home screen. So I try to put everything in one spot for you. But I hope you all have a great rest of your day. If I can do anything for you, seriously text me. I promise you I'm here for you. And don't forget you have the ability to schedule a one-on-one with me right there. Good deal?
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
all.
Thank you.
See you all tomorrow. We're going to look at opportunities in the first half of the class, how we do like our transaction piece. And then because some people use Dotloop and some people use DocuSign, DocuSign's the one that we get for free. So I'm going to be showing that in the second half of class so that if you are not a DocuSign user, you have the ability to jump off and resume your day. All right, friends.
Hey, Monica, can I cancel my tech consult with you, being that I'm going to do the boot camp all week? I had made the consult, but you sent out the boot camp link after I made the consult.
That's okay, sweetie. That is totally okay. I'm happy to go ahead and cancel that for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, hon. Talk to you all soon.